Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our third Industry Roundtable. By the way, this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the AirSpring YouTube channel later on for replay. There are literally hundreds of people registered and on this webinar right now, and we're sincerely pleased to have you join us today, as we are pleased to have our guest panelists with us today. I think the registration numbers are a clear indication of the importance of the channel ecosystem that we all depend on. And where the thought leaders today that are on our panel today see the industry going is very important to every one of us. And it's important to understand where their organizations are going, what they've changed, what they're moving forward with, and how they themselves are growing. So I'm very pleased to welcome our panelists, Renee Bergeron from AppDirect, Jude Lydecker from Avant, John Delosier with Intelisys, Justin Morano with Sandler Partners, Adam Edwards with Teleris, and of course, our moderator, Peter Radoszewski, is here as well. Now, we started this roundtable back in 2020 in the wake of the COVID pandemic and the uncertainty it created. As we know, that pandemic accelerated a lot of change in the world and the channel, but it also accelerated the adoption of some newer technologies, which have opened up opportunities for everybody. So yes, it is about a lot of change, but with change comes opportunity. And that's what we really want to emphasize today. So on the heels of Channel Partner next week, this is your opportunity to hear from some of these thought leaders and preparation for your agenda and meetings next week in Las Vegas. But before we get started, Avi Lonstein, the CEO of AirSpring, would like to say a few words.
All right. Thank you, Ellen. And thanks for that nice introduction. So first of all, I want to welcome everyone who's joining us today, and especially a very heartfelt thank you to our amazing panel here. I'm sure you all agree with me that these are the absolute top leaders and key thought talent in our industry. I'm sure you're going to be as excited as I am to listen in on what's going to be, no doubt, a lively and thought-provoking discussion. But first, a quick word about AirSpring. For those who don't know about AirSpring, we have been a 100% channel sales-driven company for over 22 years now. Our commitment to the channel is deep and unwavering, and we've worked hard to deliver the very best channel program in the industry. Now, over the years, and I'm sure we'll discuss it today as this comes up, there's been numerous technology shifts that I've personally seen over the 22 years, going all the way back to our humble beginnings selling residential long distance. I think some of you remember that. But there are continuing new technologies and offerings. And in fact, AirSpring has several rollouts that we've either recently put into the marketplace or will soon. This includes global connectivity, SASE, wireless WAN, POTS replacement, mobility, MVNO, and IoT. So lots of exciting technologies that are available as we continue the shift in the digital market. But I know that while technologies come and go over the years, there's one thing that does not change, and that is the importance of people, of service, and of support. And that's why here at AirSpring, we always strive to deliver from the top of the organization through every team member the absolutely best customer and partner experience in the industry. We call that the AirSpring Advantage, and we work hard on that because I believe personally that nothing will replace the human touch of service and support. So we are focused on your success, and we will always be here for you as a reliable, financially stable, and ethical partner. So with that said, I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing from our panel. Without further delay, let me turn it back over to Ellen.
Thank you, Avi. So now we're going to get started, and I'm going to turn the microphone over to Peter and our panelists. Peter?
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to moderate this panel. I appreciate you all being here. Start with when we talked about in pregame. What solutions are partners selling now? Anybody want to jump in and go first?
Sure. I'll go ahead, Drew.
Good.
I think that the pretty obvious ones right now is CCaaS and security is, obviously super hot, double-digit growth. And I think that trend will continue. But we're really seeing it from all facets. Every aspect of, the technology verticals that we represent, from, connectivity, data center, cloud, and cybersecurity are all up. I think for a lot of time, most people would probably think about, some of the newer technologies, UCaaS, CCaaS, and that's definitely, growing extremely fast. But I think every vertical right now is going through a transition, is going through a new phase. We just closed our largest deal in company history, probably the largest deal on the channel, multi-million-dollar a month deal. And that was in the connectivity space. And I say that because even in that vertical, which is, traditionally always been looked upon as it's always been there, even that is going through a radical change. So it's really almost every vertical that we're seeing, but CCaaS and cybersecurity are definitely leading the way in terms of growth percentages.
Adam?
Yeah, I was going to mention when you said what products are selling, I was going to say more than we ever thought. Just listening to Avi, I think Avi tells the story of the industry when AirSpring started out as long distance and then connectivity. And now you hear him rattle off the different products that are being sold. I think that's the story of the channel, which is good news for all of us that, it came from long distance, then connectivity, then you got hosted PBX, UCaaS, CCaaS, security, IoT, mobility. It's just the magic to the model is really just that. It's not the technology that's being sold, it's the model that there's someone that a technologist, someone who's been there, done that a CIO can lean to and say, hey, I've got business risk here. I've got career risk here. You've seen this before. What do you think? And that never goes away. And to see this, I couldn't have predicted this 20 years ago, but to see the breadth that we've got now is fantastic. So I agree with Drew. I mean, it's all across the board. We're seeing growth. When you look at bookings, network is still, I would say, the granddaddy of them all. If you look in categories, and it sometimes it gets not the credit it deserves, but it is part of every conversation. And I think because we all like to talk about the new shiny thing, sometimes we shy away from that. But it is a powerhouse. We're seeing growth on all fronts.
Yeah, I would add on to that. I would say that, when I think of that question, I think of anything that leaves Earth. It's just like this work from anywhere concept is here to stay. It's for our customers, it's for our partners, it's for our employees, and it's all somewhere in the clouds, right? And so all of the things, whether it's a specific vertical that you're talking about or a specific horizontal that Drew alluded to before, and all those technology progressions and changes that Adam mentioned, I think it's all up in the air. And I think that we've gotten smarter, more efficient, and obviously more price sensitive, and we'll continue to see that. Connectivity, think about it. When you say the word connectivity, Adam makes a great point. A lot of us go back to the old days and MPLS networks and private networking, all those things. You're seeing wireless replace wireline in rural areas right now, and that's coming right to the cities. So it's here to stay. I think the channel just has this wide array of menu items to pick from. And depending on which vertical you're in, depending on which customer you're working with, there's all kinds of things out there to take to them.
Look, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about SaaS, right? So I'll add one more point in there is SaaS. So I agree with everything has been said, but really interesting data point. If you think of us starting 4 years ago of bringing those SaaS and infrastructure as a service solutions to channel partner, today we've got over 25% of our partners that have sold SaaS subscription. So this diversification, this convergence between software infrastructure and connectivity is real, as evidenced by that. And then one more point to support what you were saying, Adam and Avi. The good news is customers are buying more technology. I just read a report last week from Gartner stating that they're expecting the technology spend, which includes the connectivity, to grow 5.5% this year. So let's talk about uncertain economy. It's not impacting in a significant way, according to Gartner, how businesses are spending on technology.
So I could obviously and do obviously agree with all the fellow panelists. And I think my approach to this question would more so be one to talk to the partners that are either listening live or at some point watching the replay of this and say, you know, what's always differentiated the great partners from the good ones is the great ones really own all the technology needs of their customers, and they're building a wall around those clients, and they're not leaving any doors or windows or cracks or crevices to allow someone else to come in, possibly capitalize on being the trusted technology advisor for that customer's needs, and ultimately maybe displacing what they're doing for that client directly. So where our organization and the other companies here come in as, we provide those options. We provide that gateway or that education needed to be that well-rounded, trusted advisor for their customers.
You know, and before you go on to the next question, I just want to throw in one thing. And I think because we obviously have an amazing audience here, a lot of people on, you know, and I think everybody would agree with me on this panel. I hope so. But I think it's something that all of us that's watching and listening right now, it's anything as a service. And if you look at everything that we're doing, it's generally tied to as a service. And that as a service, I mean, even in the connectivity space, which I totally agree, JD. I mean, it's still massive, right? It's still a huge, but it's really looking more and more like the as a service industry, right? In everything. And I think that the customers now are desperate for the trusted advisors to be the ones screaming in their face that we represent the entire as a service industry right here. We sit in the center of that storm. And I think that's what's so exciting, Peter, really is about what's being hot and sold in this industry. If you really want to look at it, it's the as a service industry that is just blowing up right now. Including NAS, right?
So with interest rates increasing, Renee, you said that, you know, Gartner says nothing's growing. So, I mean, that it's still going to grow. So how do you think that you know, because we hear macroeconomic in almost every financial report that comes out. So how do you think that's going to affect the channel? I mean, Gartner says no, but, you know, AT&T's call said yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the economic uncertainty is real. It's going to create some shifts in our industry, right? It could impact, you know, our partners' end customer. We're seeing bankruptcies. It could impact providers. It could impact TSD, right? The channel as a whole. So I think that, you know, it pushes the partners maybe to do some additional due diligence as they look at the solutions that they recommend to their end customer. You know, they've traditionally done due diligence on the provider's business solution, on, you know, the technology that's supporting it. Now you got to think about the financial aspects as well, because you want to recommend solutions that are going to support your end customers on an ongoing basis. So, you know, I think it brings an additional dynamic, and I think we're going to see some shifts, but you know, there's also a lot of companies that are sitting on the sideline viewing these as opportunity, and as assets are, you know, distressed, they're going to be bought and they're going to be transformed into more. So long as that demand is there at the end customer level to continue to improve their customers' business and experience or reduce their operating costs, you know, I think the channel will thrive through this.
Anybody else want to take a stab at that question?
I hate when people say, oh, our industry is recession proof. Like, that is a silly statement in my mind. But I will tell you that when hard times hit, when pandemics hit, when recession hits, companies are trying to be more efficient and save money. That's a fact. That's as simple as that. It's what it is. And to Drew's point earlier, when you're in that SaaS market, if you're subscribing, if you're trying to put things in place that aren't here on the planet, that typically cost less, by the way, you're going to save money and you're going to be more efficient. So I think it's opportunity. I always look at it optimistically. I think that if this recession hits, that people will be just like here in Florida, when a hurricane hits and they run to the gas station and they run to the grocery store and they do all those things. I think the same thing is going to continue to happen in our industry, and that companies will be preparing for that recession or, that adjustment, whatever it is. And if they're doing that, they're going to do it through a partner because they don't know what to do. So the opportunity for the partner is tremendous as we go forward. So I think that I agree. I think it looks different. I think there are going to be some shifts. I think the media will continue to spin it all up. And as they do that, I believe that there'll be opportunity for our partners to take advantage of that in a good way.
And Peter, I think we're
go ahead.
seeing how it's changing just with our suppliers, right? We're seeing a lot of reduction in force. We're seeing a lot of changes in compensation. There are some really great people in our industry out there that aren't working right now. Whereas a year or so ago, it was a seller's market for great channel people. And I would also encourage any of those providers out there watching today, if you get very bullish in times of economic downturn and uncertainty, or maybe you're just looking to fill a void, reach out to the folks on this panel, because I'm sure we all know great people out there that would be a valuable asset to any organization.
Yeah, taking the JD approach, also very positive person. And I can say that anytime there is change in our macroeconomics, we've benefited. I too won't say we're recession proof, but we're pretty damn close. We blow where the wind blows. And in times of extreme growth, COVID, we were there helping solve the problems for the large enterprise to connect in a way they had never been connected. If you look at 2001, this channel came out stronger. If you look at 2008, this channel came out stronger. When times are good, we're going to help position the end customer to have a distinct advantage over their competition with better technology. When times are tough, we're going to be able to come in there and help them save money, but also position technology that'll make them more efficient than they currently are today. In my opinion, right now, in this downturn a little bit of the economy, we're seeing record months every month currently right now, but it's greatly due to the fact that companies are looking to make massive changes to the as-a-service movement, and they're looking to be able to do less with more. And to me, that's like the opportunity of a lifetime. Every single customer should be searching for a trusted advisor right now in order to be able to achieve what they can in IT. And IT is just not a Band-Aid anymore. It's the difference between keeping the lights on and separating yourself from all of your competition. So I think it's an exciting time, to be honest with you. And I think it's one of the things that we should everybody on this panel, we all agree, and every TA, we should be, when the winds blow, we blow with it. And I think that we can really help the industry.
All righty. What effect do you think the consolidation of the TSBs have had on partners?
I'll take a stab at that. I would say the first thing is nervousness. And I think that's that partners typically react this way to most change, and for good reasons. I mean, these are small businesses that started out with nothing, that nobody helped them, and they had to carve it out, and you get accounts pulled away from you and you get your commission cut off. So I think to view the world as, the possibility that things could be the downside, I think is very real for most small businesses. And I think that's the way it's looked at from a lot, is with trepidation of, hey, what's going on here? Are these the people I know and trust? I think what's playing out, though, in consolidation is, number one, it's natural to take place, just like an airline or a railroad. The network, the fact that you've got this large fixed asset creates scale, and by scale, you can do a lot more things. And I think if you stand back and look at what has taken place with consolidation, is the reinvestment into the channel yields more benefit, yields more services, resources. What you see from the players that have acquired is you see more tools coming out, you see more resources coming out, you see more education. And that's a good thing, because 10 disparate companies have a very hard time producing 10 different educational tracks, whereas one with all that economic power, just an example with education, are able to create a lot of value on a singular track. And so I think that's what's taking place over time with this roll up. I don't think it's all visible right now. I think a lot of the work that's taking place right now is behind the scenes and is yet to be seen. But I would say the biggest factor, one of the reasons to consolidate is for suppliers. The suppliers have raised their minimums, their requirements, their expectations, their program needs. It's taken more resource to address that. And I think it's that symbiosis that makes the channel thrive. We need our suppliers to be successful. They need data. They need new partners who are educated, trying to sell a new product, going from network to UCaaS to CCaaS and security. And they need all of us to thrive. And so I think the role that the TSB plays in the ecosystem is becoming more apparent as consolidation takes place. And I think that's viewed as mixed right now, but I think the way this washes out is I think people do see the value that comes from scale.
Yeah, I think also, like you, Adam, that consolidation is inevitable in any industry. And I think it's got a lot of positive effect. And maybe I'll start on that size. But, what you just said is size does matter, right? Large scale TSDs can bring the best practice from all the acquisition, and that benefits the partner's experience, more people to support the partner. And we just talk about the economic uncertainty. The reality is a partner has reduced risk with this consolidation, as the TSDs have much stronger financials, which, is massively important to partnering. The point you made, though, around kind of that fear of the loss of the personal touch that you get if you're working with a smaller TSD, you're right, it's real. And I think that, all of us here on this panel have made a lot of investment in technology so that we can automate a lot of the repeatable tasks, which allows us to free up our staff to be partner facing, to create, that same atmosphere within a much larger TSD. So, the days of, the big corporate organization versus a small and nimble, I think we're bringing the best of both worlds together, all of us.
Yeah, I would just comment, our company, obviously we're owned by ScanSource, Intelisys is owned by ScanSource, and ScanSource has been around for a long, long time. We've acquired well over 100 companies and seen several industries truly consolidate, whether it be in the original days of printing and fax machines all the way to the industry we're in today, and that's thriving around the things we're discussing on this panel. I love what both Renee and Adam just said. It's just natural. It's going to happen. Every industry, it's going to happen. And it's hard, right? Because others don't understand if you haven't been through something like that before. But I think that we do benefit from a few bringing a lot of value to the table and it getting more and more. And I don't think that we're done. I think we're going to see a lot more consolidation. We haven't seen the second bite of a lot of the apples yet. We look at our company, we were one of the originals, if not the original OG, right? When it came to acquisition, and ScanSource bringing Intelisys in 2016. And I think since that time, and I'm not insinuating we get all the credit for that, but we're certainly contributed towards it. I think since that time, we woke up financial institutions as an industry. And just look at the folks on this call and what's happened to their businesses in the last few years. And I congratulate them on it, because I think we woke up the financial markets. They're paying attention now. They see the value. They see the returns. They see the beautiful things that we're bringing to the communities, from enhancement around technology services, et cetera. And I think it's just going to continue. This will not be the end. So all the partners watching, it's going to keep going. The question is how do you fit into it? And what is your plan, in taking advantage of that consolidation, both from a supplier perspective, from a TSB perspective, and in the agent community? I mean, it's happening all around us.
Well, I mean, John, I think the response has been everybody's been trying to get out as fast as they possibly can. That's what I think the response is from partners. I mean, the MSP space has had M&A like crazy for 4 years, but there were 2,200 transactions in MSP space last year. And I think on the partner side, I can count on my hand how many of the partners I've dealt with haven't sold out. So I think the response to all this has been the partners are like, oh, then we'll exit too. I mean, we'll
Peter,
get
I
our
disagree.
Okay.
And the reason is we surveyed our top partners at President's Club. We did a live survey to find out which of our partners, because, and what we found was they're getting lots of calls. We're talking like 10 calls a week. They're just getting bombarded, which I really view as what's taking place as pent-up demand. It always boggled my mind that this incredible business was not sought after by outside investment. These incredible cash flows, and they'd look at it and say, well, you don't invoice anybody, so that could all disappear tomorrow. Well, it turns out we got a 20-year track record that says it doesn't disappear. It continues on. And once they got conviction around that and came in, I think there was a lot of pent-up demand of people who were going, yeah, my retirement plan has been just let it attrition over time and just wait. And now I can cash out. And so I think there is some FOMO. There's some people who are jumping on board, but we interviewed top partners. This is not the great masses. These are the top performers that are top of their game and doing this for years, and asked them, when do you plan to sell out? And we found that it was fewer than 20% said they had any plan to sell in the next 3 years. The overwhelming majority of top performing partners said, I got a long way to go. And while they're entertaining conversations, they want to see what's around the corner. We found that most partners, at least in our collection, there's about 120 partners, top performing partners, said, I'm going to continue to run. And so I do think there's this period of pent-up demand, but what I really believe is there's now a financial vehicle. They're sophisticated investors who are working on building platforms. You know what? Some are going to lose money and some are not going to do well. And some are going to do really well. But what I think it's going to do is raise the professionalism of the industry. I think it attracts more partners. These guys that are Accenture and Deloitte and going, wait, I can make money doing what? Doing what I do today. We see 120 to 120 plus new partners coming on board every month. That's a lot more than are exiting the industry. And I think that when partners see that, man, people are going to value my business and, 15, 20 years from now, I could sell something really valuable, is really inspiring to people who are just coming on board. So while I know there's a generation right now that's been just waiting to get out or is nervous and has FOMO, I think there are a lot more people who are inspired going, you know what? Yeah. Give me 5 years. Give me 5 years. I want a deal like that. And I also believe those deals are going to get better because these investors are going to get more sophistication and more conviction around how great this model is. And I think the investors are late to the game, but I think it's good that they're here because I think all partners benefit.
Okay. So you said that you surveyed a bunch of people and they say they weren't going to sell. Well, I could tell you that most of my masters told me right to my face a couple months before they sold that they weren't going to sell. So but
let me, Peter, let me just add one thing.
Sorry, JD, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please, Drew, go ahead. You're probably going to say the same thing.
I think, Peter, that's a little bit on the negative side of thinking. I'm just going to say this, like every industry goes through growth. And I think what is happening, the partners that want to leave, they can leave. And guess what? You have an option. You can leave. I think that's so exciting. That means smart money understands the future of where this is going. We are in early days. I said it last year. I'm going to say it again. We still are. This thing is growing faster and smart money knows it. And, the elimination of some of the consolidation is getting rid of some of the noise and sometimes the negative noise. And that negative noise needs to go away because I only see positivity in this space. I think some people that have been in this game for a very long time can tend to see some of the negative that's coming out there. But right now, the only option should be scaling. It should be taking advantage of this market, taking advantage of being a trusted advisor, the fact that you're an extension of the IT staffs of enterprises who desperately need you right now to help them. And I think with the consolidation, we are able to bring in things that we can do better and we can do it faster to help the TAs scale at a clip that keeps pace with the industry. And so I think the fact that some people, it's very different than the MSP industry. I get the MSP went through crazy consolidation and people were trying to do that. But what was happening in that space was they were trying to build massive MSPs and they still are, right? If you're a big MSP and you're still independent, you are rarefied air. In this space, it's a little bit different. In my opinion, especially at the TSD, perspective, we're all 100% focused on growing a TA. That's the only thing we wake up and do every single day. We do nothing else but think about how can we scale their business. And as a TA, the only thing you should be thinking about is growing and scaling your business, growing over 30% a year in EBITDA year after year. And who is going to help you do that the fastest? And who's going to surround you with more resources, more tools that are producing billions of dollars now for the, service providers that we all represent. I think that's the positivity. And I think the best part about this too is the people that are leaving, some of them are going to decide, I want to get back in. And then some of the ones that are out there working, they're going to say, I'm going to get in. We've never seen, I would imagine a few of us have seen this, but I've never seen more new companies of unbelievable talent with sophistication getting in this game right now, with a tremendous amount of passion, knowing the opportunity at hand.
I would just add up that I was just going to say, of course, you took the words right out of my mouth, Drew, and we've talked about it together many times on many different panels. All of us have. Just look at the TAM, Peter. That's all you have to do. Just look at the TAM. If you add up everybody on this call, if all of our companies got thrown in a pot together, we don't make up 20% of the opportunity in that TAM in the US alone. 20%. And we're doing pretty well. Everybody on this call is growing, right? I mean, we're public. Go look at the transcripts. Like, it's pretty amazing what's happening. And I know it's happening with these guys as well. 20%. So all the partners watching today, I hate the word sell out. I don't think anybody's selling out. I think they're selling into and buying into their retirement plans or their next steps. But it's given an opportunity for those folks that have been woken up to jump in with us. And you're
even here, JD, you're even hearing from people that sold and they're like, I can't wait to be done to get back in again and do it again.
I've heard it
again.
I've absolutely heard it. I've absolutely heard it.
I mean, what a lucky place to be, in my opinion.
In fact, there's one acquirer out there, and I won't mention their name because I'm not going to shill for anybody right now, but they're taking an approach of, you know what, I want a non-solicit, but not a non-compete. If you want to go start another agency again and sell to me again, have at it. I'd love to buy your second agency, which I think is fantastic.
That's real.
Yeah.
Because it's all additive. Right? There is so much opportunity out there to drive technology within business. It's all additive, right? So, and what's exciting also is we're seeing new types of partner coming in. You have the 4-hour work week kind of partners that have figured that they're very, very strong at the relationship with the end customer. And now they can partners with TAs or with TSDs and, leverage the competencies in terms of building the solution. So it's opening up a whole new market and new types of partners coming in as well.
So what are these new types of partners that you guys have all talked about? If they're not agents and they're not MSPs, like, what's the business model look like?
I bet none of us have direct, it's not like necessarily direct industries, but like consulting, for instance, who have been taking one-time fees forever, are realizing they're part of the decision-making process, but they're not getting anything in perpetuity. They're not building any valuation for themselves. And I think the consulting industry is waking up and saying, wow, if I'm so good at consulting, why can't I go and build a monthly recurring practice? And I don't need to rebill it, resell it, because that's not getting any valuation. I can go to a TSD, I can plug into that TSD, and I can take advantage and monetize that market of the decision. So you're seeing consultants, you're seeing commercial real estate who has unbelievable relationships, but are looking to transform their businesses as their market changes. You're looking at the VAR space that, in my opinion, right now, we've been at it for 13 years since we started the company, but now all of a sudden what was used to be pulling teeth to get them to think about this space through this model, not a resale model, not a wholesale model, but through this model. Now all of a sudden it's like hot. Everybody wants to jump on board on this, right? Because they see the valuations, they see the low risk, and they see the ability to actually deliver what their customers are truly wanting. So it's coming from all areas. You're going to see system integrators. John and Adam were just on with their backgrounds, but they know too, like companies like Zoom, for instance, is kind of decimating the system integrator market when you can hang a TV on a wall in 4 hours, plug in and have one speaker that controls an entire room. That $1 million room just went down to 50 grand. So what are you going to do? You're going to go and partner with the ecosystem. It's going to be more about bringing in the service providers as opposed to hanging TVs on the wall. So, I mean, that's just one example, but I would say that anywhere and anywhere that has great relationships can take advantage of this ecosystem now.
We have a rich history of, you guys know the story with ScanSource and who knows how many there are. There are a lot of different partners that have bought and sold through our organization for many, many years, thousands, tens of thousands. And I will tell you that when you ask, well, who are the partners getting in? I'll give you one great example. We have a division of our company that's all barcoding and scanning. And people will look at that and say, barcoding and scanning. I did, by the way, back in the day. What does that even mean? Well, have you ever gone to a grocery store? Or have you ever bought fast food that you probably shouldn't have somewhere? Or have you gone in and swiped a credit card? That's barcoding and scanning. And there's a whole plethora of partners out there that have never even thought of participating in our industry that we're discussing today. We're seeing across the board, to Drew's good point, companies like that who have provided that point of sale, that scanning environment, whatever it is, for years and years, now start asking the next question, which is, hey, just curious, what are you using for communication services? What are you using for voice? Oh, you have a contact center? By the way, how are you securing all that? They didn't ask those questions before. It didn't happen. And so we're seeing this new group of partners. I don't know even how you categorize them. Maybe they're VARs, but whatever they are, enter our market space and realize, hey, I can create an annuity for myself. And it's not just about the next device. It's about an annuity. So we're seeing all kinds of companies like that, especially in retail, start coming to the table and wanting to sign up and be partners in our industry. Pretty cool stuff. People you never would expect.
Another great example we're seeing is digital agencies. So, they basically perfected their trade in selling one-time product, really being good at capturing attention in a digital fashion and working with partners to fulfill. And they've switched on now that, it's much better if they're doing this with technology subscription, which continue to reward over an ongoing basis. And so we're starting to see them coming into our partners and really looking, for that partnership to build a solution behind them, but they're bringing the demand in. And so another example of partners that weren't in our space a couple of years ago that all of a sudden, are bringing opportunities.
Justin, did you want to jump in on that?
So my head's spinning a little bit because I feel like we started one place and this whole thing moved in a bunch of different directions. If I recall the question was, what effect has the consolidation of TSBs had on partners? And I was kind of surprised not to hear one of the things that initially jumped out to me, which was diversity, right? Many of these folks were working with and continue to work with multiple TSDs. So seeing that their business may now be lumped back into one big pool forced them to lose some of that diversity that they thought that they had.
Not sure, but I think the question was, what new customers are we seeing? And I'll just finish on this too. Like the other thing is, it's anybody that has a great relationship that can have some type of voice in a technology decision. So I'm just going to end on that.
Yeah, that's good.
So Justin, you were 2 questions behind, but the last question was what new partner comes in. But I do agree with you that the diversity did go away for a lot of them. Like 2 of my masters ended up in the same place, and that ended up being a rat's nest for me, and I had to go look somewhere else. But the choices are slim on where to go, truthfully. So if you want to talk to us about new partners, what they look like and how you're getting them, that'd be great.
I don't
Well,
think
I guess
it's,
I would
Go ahead.
ask, how much do you have to diversify? Because the conversation I have with partners about diversification is, number one, what are you diversifying for? And the number one reason is, what if everything gets cut off? Well, that's really the primary reason we came into existence, is because partners got cut off by providers. And now we're of a size where that doesn't happen. The bankruptcies that took place, Fusion, Frontier, Windstream, all those bankruptcies, none of the players on this call were impacted by those. Yet, I think one of those suppliers had 1,500 direct partners get cut off. So I think that issue has been solved. And then there's further diversification among TSBs. But my question to partners is typically this: like, how far do you need to diversify? I mean, with the number of TSBs out there, do you need 10 of them to spread it around 10? Because the way we look at partners is we invest a lot. And when I say a lot, it's easy to say we invest a lot. Our engineering team, has grown significantly in the last 2 years. Our project management team, our account management team, our auditing team, our revenue assurance team, all of these teams have grown because of scale and add value. But the way we look at partners is, if they're giving us 1/10 of their business, we just don't see them very much on our radar, and we can't dig in with them and say, hey, how more can we help you? Because what the business looks like to us is 1/10 of the business they really are. And what we found is, if we can really invest together with a partner and align on, hey, what new technologies are you trying to sell? Can we help you get there? What things are you trying to unlock? Are there some things we can take off your plate to help you focus more on sales? We can do that when we see the volume, but when it's distributed to 10 different places, we can't really invest a lot in a relationship. So I guess my question again is, how much diversification do you think is ideal for a partner? And Peter, I'm asking that question to you.
How much do I think? I had mine spread across 5. When I've done surveys of people before all the M&A happened, it was 5. And you felt safe with 5.
How did you manage that many relationships?
Well, same way you manage 400 vendor relationships.
We have a team of 20 people to do that.
Okay, I only need a team of 1 to handle 5 master agents. I mean, I'm not talking about it's all day, and that all shrank down to basically 2.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Adam. I mean, listen, you'll never hear out of the 2 of us. We want every single bit of your business. Why? Because we want to build that relationship. We want to surround you. We want to be the Iron Man suit. We want to help you scale. I never understood five master agents. Like, how could you actually build and really get strategic around 5 relationships? I think anybody that brings up diversity is just trying to get a piece of the ever-growing TAM that is out there. And I see our partners leaning in, particularly our top partners leaning 100% in with us, because they are building the relationships, they're learning the motions, they're getting comfortable, they're very comfortable with the financial aspects and all of the things that you brought up as a negative. I think in the positive, they believe that all boats rise. And so I'm firmly in the camp with Adam. I think we are going to constantly strive to try and be your only option. And I think if we didn't have that mentality, then we wouldn't be a great company. I really believe that.
Right, but no top partner is going to go to their TSD and say, yeah, I'm looking at somebody else, right? They're going to do it quietly, the way Peter brought up about them selling out, right? They're not going to tell you that they're looking to sell, but all of our eyes have been opened up by a LinkedIn post or an iAgent that so-and-so bought so-and-so when we had we had no clue about it, right? Like, we thought we were great friends with that partner. How come you didn't say anything to us? Well, because they couldn't, but we were all surprised by these things. I don't think any top partner is going to come to me or anyone on this panel and say, yeah, we're looking to diversify our business. They're going to tell us what we want to hear. And my answer to that question was based upon what I'm hearing from partners. I agree with you that we want all their business and we're going to do everything we can to earn their business. But as far as partners are concerned, from what I'm hearing from them is they worry about their diversification through this M&A that we're seeing.
Yeah,
let me ask. And I see things, similar to Drew and Adam as well, because I think that, as an advisor, partner, you can have multiple relationships, but you're not getting the best out of any of that. But if you invest and you're truly partnering, meaning that you're sharing goals, we're building business plans together, we're going deep from an enabling standpoint, you're getting a ton more value from your TSD. And I don't know that a partner can invest that way with multiple TSDs. So I'm in the non-diversification camp.
Well, what do you think the primary reason is anybody uses a TSB? I mean, the primary reason, number one thing that they use you for.
Peter, there's not one answer. It's a different answer for every partner.
It's commissions. They need to come.
There's not one answer.
If I could just say one thing on that, because it kind of goes into the last conversation. There certainly is not one thing. There are a couple things for us. I will tell you. One is that from an enablement and education perspective, we've invested, like a lot of our panelists, a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of research to help educate and enable our partners to be better and to answer questions surrounding them with engineering support and processes and programs and things that absolutely can help take their businesses to the next level. The days of the booze cruise are long over. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind having a drink on a ship with somebody.
I'll go on a cruise with you anytime, JD.
Amen. Same. But the difference is today, all of us, I think, have to make that commitment. Now, when we were talking about diversity a little bit ago, sometimes, Drew or Adam or Justin or Renee, whoever it is, may choose to invest more heavily in one of the other aspects of technology than maybe we do here at Intelisys. That might be the case. And maybe that might cause some partners to look elsewhere. But I think enablement and education is number one. I certainly wouldn't run from commission protection and financial security, because I think that is definitely a great point, and we shouldn't be embarrassed because of that. You can check our financials on this from an Intelisys perspective. We billed last year about $2.3 billion. And because of that, we have substantial buying power with the suppliers, and a relationship that's probably a little bit different than somebody trying to get into the business today. So I think that there is some protection and security there for sure. There's also the ability to capitalize some of our relationships with the fact that we're incredibly well capitalized. We'll just leave it at that. And a lot of these guys will say the same thing. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's one thing. I think that financial is for sure part of it. I think that enablement and education is another big part of it. And I would go
So if you stop paying them, they'd still work with you.
Well, now you're saying.
No. I think that
Peter, clearly you have an answer. Peter, clearly you have an answer you want to hear.
Yeah,
Right.
Just
You're not
saying.
hearing the answer you want because it's more complex than that.
Well, it might be, but at the end of the day, what was it? And if it wasn't that, then why was there all that fight over a point here, a point there, a point here?
Who doesn't want the best deal? I want the best deal. We went to our partners years ago and asked this question. We said, hey, we're gonna we're thinking about setting up this new program. We're going to give you this ridiculously high pass through, but we're going to remove all the support. And these people that have been beating us up said, absolutely not. I don't take those things away. I depend on those. But what they really want is, I don't want to be the guy who knows his friend down the street got a better deal. I want the best deal. I want it all. And what we find is, just like JD was talking about, yes, commissions is, look, nobody does anything if we don't get paid. That makes the world go round. But they also want protection. Escalate for me. You carry a big stick. Use that influence. When I've been wrong, my customer's been wrong. Help me. Take things off my plate. All this noise. Let me go somewhere. Show me. Here's another one that we found in past years is sorting, bundling, grading of suppliers. We found one of our partners sold their business, and then they were working and found out, hey, I'm in a bubble. One of the things I depend on from you is you constantly bring me new opportunities. You show me where technology is going, the conversations I'm not having and I should be having with my customers. I think all these different values matter to partners. And I think just like Justin said, it's a lot of different things. And so, yes, commission matters. Everybody wants an extra dollar. Everybody wants the best pay, but it's not just about that. I think what we're looking at right now is I think the assumption is that everybody does the commission game really well, pays well, they're accurate, they run escalations, assuming that's the same, which I don't think it is, but let's assume it is. There are other things that people are looking for. And what we found is, even though people want top pass-through, they want value.
0 times 90 still equals 0. If you're not growing, it does not matter. Commissions are literally table stakes. It's part of the FDIC of who we are. We have to do that well. That is like instrumental. But it's really should now be about, and I think the new mentality, if you see a lot of the new TAs that are coming on, it's not about the commissions. It's about, what's my bench look like? What's my resources? What's my tools? How can I separate myself? Because guess what? Back in the day, Peter, and you know you would agree with this, your competition was direct reps. Your competition isn't direct reps anymore. It's other trusted advisors. And that's only going to grow and grow. And I think everybody should be cheering that, because that is essentially the power of the movement of the trusted advisors today, and growing, and the need for them out there today. And so I think people's mentality are changing. It's more about the bench, the resources, the technology. How can they grow their business, and how big can they get?
Yeah, quote to cash is assumed, right? And I think now it's about all the extras we bring that help the partners, accelerate their growth. And, it's what differentiates us. For us, we think it's the multi-category catalog, right? Because that's going to help partners future-proof their business, especially in economic uncertainty, where they can generate new source of revenue from their existing customers by selling software as a service, infrastructure as a service, not managed services, et cetera, energy, right? So that's kind of an element. I think partners will pick a TSD for some of their differentiation, right? Whether it's a technology, some capabilities, right? Some programs, but the quote to cash is assumed.
And let's give partners some credit here. There have been, I think you said earlier, Peter, I think you're being a little provocative with it, but, they're still going to come to you if you stop paying. Well, obviously not. That's a silly question. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this, and I guarantee you everybody on this panel will say the same thing. There have been times that I know for a fact a partner has done business with Intelisys and taken less. It is a fact, because we had something to give them that would help them for the next thing, or it helped them in that deal that was different, or something like that. I'm not saying every time, but I give partners a lot of credit in that, they're getting smarter, they're hungry for education and enablement and those kinds of things. And again, I think that they will show their true colors in a deal, whether there's $100 spiff or a $50 spiff, on what the right path to take is for the customer. I just believe that.
Yep.
Panelists and moderator, we are getting close to the top of the hour. I know everyone has probably things to do after this. So Peter, do you want to wrap it up with the question number 10 that was on the list?
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
So what do you believe your superpower is for the partner? And just one thing, because we only have 6 minutes left.
I'll jump in. It's our people, right? Putting all technology enablement, portal, commission splits aside, it's really the people here that differentiate Sandler.
John, you want to go?
Did you say John or Al?
I said John.
Oh, got it. I'm used to JD, Peter. Sorry. That John thing throws me sometimes. I thought you were my dad for a second. I would say our one superpower here, if you had to narrow it down to one thing, is the diversity factor with regards to being a true hybrid distributor, that we can fulfill needs and requirements for customers, as well as, if not better than anybody, across the board, whether it's hardware, software, connectivity, or cloud services. So for me, it's the hybridness, if that was a word, of what we bring to market. And I think that most partners would agree with that. So that's my answer.
All right, Renee.
I've already mentioned the multi-category catalogs. I feel like I got a freebie there. So I'll talk about the platform. You know, obviously we're a platform, we're an e-commerce platform company. And we think that this is, you know, a superpower for us because it allows us to offer a relationship-based marketplace where partners still access all the assistance they need, you know, whether it's the training, sales engineer, everything we've been talking about since the beginning, like the people, right, that have the competencies and the capabilities. But at the same time, they can perform a number of things in a self-service fashion on our technology. So the ability to do both assisted sales and self-service sales really, I think, brings the best of both worlds. And then the ability to extend that platform to their end customer creates that stickiness when their end customer is starting to use our platform for single sign-on and identity management to access the application and the technology they bought. Now we're helping the partner be very sticky with their end customer. So that's our superpower.
All right, Drew. And
Did you say, Drew? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. The single superpower is we help TAs win more business, period. And we do that by giving them things that they don't want to invest in themselves with people, process, technology, tools, research, and analytics. We like to think we're the Iron Man suit that you get to put on and go into battle every single day. All we care about is the growth of the trusted advisor.
Adam?
I would say our superpower is helping a partner expand their business. No matter where they are, we can take over tasks from them, be it project management, account management, some of the things that they need help with so they can go sell more. We can also educate to get them into new product categories, to go sell with them so they feel comfortable talking to a customer about a different technology. But overall, what we're looking for is for those partners, wherever they are, is to expand.
All righty. Well, I appreciate you guys being here and your time and your answers. And I hope you have fun next week in Vegas.
Yeah, any final thoughts or comments before we end the webinar? Anybody want to?
Yeah, we're all super lucky to be here. I hope, you know, this industry gets more positivity. Cheers on the ones that are growing. Look forward to seeing everybody at Channel Partners. And thanks for having us today.
Yeah, I would say that everybody that joined this panel today, this call today, is here for one reason and one reason only: to make sure that the partners on the call know that we're here to help them. It's that simple. Somebody said, I think Drew said it. That's it. That's what it's about.
You know, sometimes you don't realize you're riding the best wave of your life until it's over. And I'm telling you right now, we're in it. And when we look back at this, we're going to say, man, that was an incredible journey. And right now we're in the middle of it. Everybody who's in this channel is seeing transformation happen, is a part of it. And so I agree with Drew, his statement of we're in early innings. There's no question about it. We're riding a wave and we're going to keep going. It's going to keep getting better.
And I look forward to actually celebrating all of our success, you know, as an industry when we're all together next week in Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you kicked off this call calling us thought leaders, and it just made me think. I've been called a lot of things in my 23-year career. Certainly probably not a thought leader, at least to my face. So I give credit to my peers for grouping me in with the true thought leaders. And I thank you as always for letting me be a part of this. I always have a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It was, as usual, enlightening. Lots of fun stuff. I'm sure we've got a couple more hours. There were some great questions we didn't get to on the Q&A that hopefully the panelists can take a look at, because I think it shows lots of thoughts out there from our community. But I think the most important thing here is, as everyone said, the key here is we are all here on behalf of our community, the partner community. And that is that's what the message I heard most is we want to do what's right for that community, and each of us is going about it a different way. But the strength of it keeps on. We're going in the right direction. So I won't ask you for your predictions here, but I'm interested the next time we meet in a year from now. How fast has your business grown over the next 12 months? I think, you know, with the economy and everything, I still think we're going to see tremendous growth in this industry. So with that said, here's to fantastic channel partners coming up and a great year ahead. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Avi.
everyone.
Take
Thank you,
care,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.